You may see something pop up on your screens to accept the recording. Go ahead and accept, and then Chris, you can call the meeting to order.
Okay, we'll go ahead and call the youth committee meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Dave Cole,
Yes.
Amy Corbin,
Yes.
Lori Jennings,
Yes.
Chuck Jones, Adam Black, Tiffany Mackey, Patty Metzger, Sally Shawver, Chris Stroll,
Here.
Kathy Swenson.
Okay, we do not have a quorum, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so we will skip agenda item number 2. I do know that Tiffany is going to join us. She had another appointment at 9:30 and it was running a little bit late. So I do anticipate her to join us, and then if anyone else happens to join. So we will skip agenda item number 2, which is review and approval of the June 21st, 2021 minutes. We'll move on to item number 3, report on activities and programs for youth. And I will turn that over to Lori and Elaine. I bet Elaine is coming in right behind you. I see a little black purse back there.
She is. She's sitting over in the corner.
Lori won't let me get on the picture. She told me to back up.
Good morning. The past few months, we've had a real busy summer. Staff have been real busy preparing for the fall semester at the area community colleges, doing a lot of new recruitment, a lot of new applications for the fall semester. We've participated in a couple of career fairs. One was held at Vandalia at the Kaskaskia College Vandalia Center. Over 300 jobs or careers were available among over 50 businesses participating. One of our staff, she offered, along with one of the Kaskaskia College staff, presented information to job seekers on resume writing, interviewing, and soft skills training. And we also attended the Centralia Career Expo, which was held in August, and where we provided information to job seekers about WIOA, the programs and services we have available. We were also real busy in July. We had meet with CEFS WIOA representative days. We held those at Kaskaskia, Cluthe Center here in Effingham, main campus, Lakeland College, Alney Central College, and Lincoln Trail. And we had not as good luck as we normally have, but we did have some folks coming in, and a lot of people are still taking advantage of our online applications, which is a big help to our career planners. It's also helping keep a lot of that traffic down in the offices. We've just been doing lots of outreach in the community. We're meeting with employers where we're presenting information about on-the-job training, the youth work experience program. So we've been crazy busy doing that. The Effingham One-Stop Center, the reopening plan was approved by IDES, and the reopening date for the center was September 7th. So the office is open over there. It is by appointment only, and that's for the WIOA and IDES staff. From what I understand, there's not a whole lot of traffic over there at this point. A lot of the issues on the IDES side can be taken care of a lot of times with just a phone call, but everything, it is by appointment only. So if you'd have anybody looking for employment, needing resumes, things like that, they do have to have an appointment. And they can call one of our career planners to make an appointment, because we do need to get you on the schedule to give that to the security guards, because they won't let you in the building without an appointment. Currently, we've got 77 customers receiving career and or training services in the youth program. We've only exited 2 customers since July 1st. The total number served to date is 79. And we are actively recruiting and searching for out-of-school youth 16 through 24. We have lots of work experience, money on the youth side, and we've got lots to spend. So we're doing lots of outreach trying to find those youth. They're just not coming in at this point. So that's all I got.
Okay, we'll move on. Does anyone have any questions for Lori before we move on? Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 4, performance measures, current status. I'll turn it back over to Lori.
Okay, for program year 2020, we ended up, the overall outcome on this, it was any different than what I shared with you back in June. We, on the youth side, we were exceeding 4 of the performance measures. We were failing the youth credential attainment rate by 1 customer, and that's where we ended the year with. So those were the numbers that were reported to DOL at the end of program year 2020. We were real disappointed, but there just weren't enough people in that pool, and we missed it by 1. So unfortunately, it is showing an overall fail for us. There are no sanctions or anything by us not meeting that. But when I'm looking at, I ran this report for program 2021, and we're actually meeting the youth credential rate for this year. So, which is good. We've got 3 fails, 1 exceed, 1 meet. And at this time of the year, this is pretty much the norm until we do some follow-up. And as time goes on, those numbers will change for us. So we'll be able to raise those up. So that's all we've got on the performance side.
Any questions for Lori on agenda item number 4, performance measures, current status? We'll move on to item number 5, youth recruitment ideas and action. As Lori stated, there is some money that is hanging out there ready to take care of those 16 to 24 youth, young adults, whatever name we want to give them, but those 16 to 24-year-olds out there. We reported at the last youth meeting on the probation offices and how we had done some focus groups with probation offices, which did warrant a few students that had made contact with Lori or some of the other Title I folks in different offices. But looking for other ideas, other ways that we can find those youth, because as Lori stated, they are difficult to find. I'm very aware that they're difficult to find, but how do we go about finding them and what do we need to do? So Lori, anyone have ideas, things that they want to bring up that we could start working on? I say we. I'm not sure if I have a mouse in my pocket. Lori's looking Chris saying we, but what can we do to help you? But then also, what ideas can we give to Lori and any of their caseworkers to help recruit some of those youth in the different areas?
Chris, this is Amy. Have you guys, I can't remember, worked with any of the transition planning committee groups? I know that ours with Easy meets tomorrow. We work with transition age students and their families, so I didn't know if that might be something. I do know that there's a TPC group in Effingham as well. I know these are normally in-school youth, but eventually, you know, the purpose of a transition planning committee is to get them to adulthood, which would mean they would eventually be out of school.
Yeah. The in-school kids for us are easy to find. It's those out of school youth. And we have to be pretty careful because right now, 25% of our money goes to in-school youth, 75% for out of school. We've done well on the in-school side. In fact, we've probably got more in-school youth on than we should have at this point. So our main focus is the out-of-school youth. That's where we really need to get those numbers up. Do you have, I mean, do you continue working with these families and the kids after they graduate?
SAIL does, if we get a student who, needs the independent living services or needs help finding housing or placement with, other services. I have had 2 in the last couple of years that I have worked with. And it seems like maybe that when I've made the connection with the VR service at doors, they kind of fall through the cracks at that point.
Are these people able to go to work by themselves?
Yes.
Okay. A lot of the referrals that we have gotten are for kids that can't work on their own. They have to have a job coach all the time. And we don't provide job coaches. So it has to be somebody that's able to go in and do a job.
And Amy, you might, if you're referring to doors, refer them to us at the same time. We can coordinate services.
Okay.
So maybe if they can assist them, we can.
I'm working with a young man right now who's going to graduate in December, but he does have, some aspirations of doing something. And I think that he's employable. He would be able to work a job, and he's been referred to VR services 2 months ago, and we haven't heard anything from anybody. So I don't know when you want that referral. He's still in school at this point till December.
You could refer him anytime. We probably wouldn't do any paperwork on him until he's graduated, where we can count him as an out of school youth. But, we can still provide him with some information.
Okay.
Get him in our system where we're still talking to him, and I think that would probably be the best thing to do. But we probably wouldn't do paperwork until after he's graduated.
Till after December.
Yeah.
And again, it's not going to be like a huge number, but like I said, this is my 3rd one that I kind of feel like that, once we get them to that point, then they end up either we just happen to find a job or, but I think that they could use an additional support, for that.
Right.
So,
Well, we kind of say it's like it's like one youth at a time, because we don't have this pool of kids sitting there waiting for jobs. So one will take them,
Okay. Well, I see him on Friday and we'll talk about it. And if he wants me to make a referral, I'll certainly do that.
That's perfect.
But I do know of a couple other families that I can reach out to that probably, I know one girl may already be 24. If she's not, it'll be close, but then the other young man should be about 21. So I can look back in my, information and see if they might want a referral made too.
Okay.
Just to follow up and see how they're doing.
As long as they're not 25, we're still good.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, they still fall under the youth program.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good deal.
We've had real good youth. I mean, some of the employers we've been meeting with, we get the referrals from them. They kind of hand us, these young people and even adults, where we want to hire this person and we screen them for eligibility. We've had 2 in the last 3 days for OJT. We want to hire this person, we screen them. So that is a big help. But, we're doing everything we've always done plus some. We've talked about this a lot, and I know we kind of throw this back to COVID quite a bit, but we almost came to a dead halt during that COVID period. And right now it's just us building some momentum, and it's taking some time. And, once we get going with it, I think we'll be okay, but it's just getting there. And it's been a struggle. It really has. So we're open to any, I mean, we're going out to different groups and organizations, the schools, whatever we can do to spread the word about the program.
Amy, is the transition planning group, is that the one that meets out of Easy?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
In the past, I think that Deb Schumacher has been there. I don't know if,
Sally comes, she attends pretty regularly. But I was just thinking that we do sometimes have those virtual fairs, or we have those offerings of services. And I think that our discussion tomorrow is, when we're going to start those back up, like, to get information to families. And I think that this would be an untapped group, because we haven't seen this for several years offered as, part of a support service or, an option. So I think that's something where we can make a connection to for families and students who are going to graduate and, don't know, they just aren't aware of all of the services that might be available.
Will you do this virtually, Amy, or is this an in-person meeting?
We have in-person and virtual for our
Okay.
Transition planning committees.
Okay.
Yeah. We had also talked about like just recording different agencies and what they might have to offer, and then putting that on our Facebook page and then offering it to parents too. We're kind of in the planning stages of what we want to do with that, but I think that this is something that needs to be out there.
I'm gonna beat the dead horse, guidance counselors. I know there's the student symposium that is, I think it's this Friday at Casey Summers. Is that right? Anyone? Did I send that information to you, Lori? For the.
Yes.
And I thought you said, is Elaine attending that?
I haven't talked to her about that yet. I know Deborah's on vacation this week.
And a little background, the Student Services Symposium is something that was held at our old Workforce Development Center. It is held by Laura Sullivan, puts the meeting on. It is all guidance counselors in Regional Office of Education Area 11. So Clark, Cumberland, Coles, Moultrie. I feel like maybe there's a fifth county that I might be missing. When you get down to Effingham, they're in a different ROE. They do a little bit different meeting down there. They don't necessarily get all of the guidance counselors together when they hold a meeting like that. But I know just from my experience with adult education and then also with alternative ed, that there are quite a few new guidance counselors in the area. Some have been at the elementary or middle schools and have moved up to high school. Some have went from high school and moved back down to the lower grades, and some are coming and have zero guidance counseling experience, maybe came from teaching. So those might be some good people to get some of that information in the hands of them. Lori, do you think we need to follow up or anything that we could do with the probation offices after some of the meetings that we've already had with that?
It might, I think, help if we send maybe a follow-up letter or something to them, but we haven't really got a whole lot of, initially when we did the presentation, we had a little action at that point, but we haven't been getting any referrals, and even the referrals we did receive, they didn't follow through. So we didn't, get one new youth on because of those meetings. I mean, I think it's going to be a continual conversation, with them, keeping the information out there, but they're just not showing up. And we're not getting the referrals either.
Who do you feel like we're missing referrals from?
I think every, the schools, every place. You know, we're not getting referrals consistently from any one place. It's kind of hit and miss. And a lot of times the best referrals come from word of mouth from our students, some of our other work experience youth that are on there. Family members. That seems, we get more that way than referrals from agencies and the schools.
Okay, so we have currently have 79 students, my education background, I call them all students. 79 participants that have been served this year, 77 are current. With the number, with the dollar amount that we are looking at to spend with the carryover dollars and our 80% for this year, how many students do we need to see in the youth program to expend those dollars wisely and efficiently?
I would say probably close to 150.
Additional students.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We had over 700,000 in carryover money for this year from last year. So we're playing major catch up.
Well, what do you see happening if COVID continues at the current rate and you're unable to, get enough referrals and you end up having even more of a carryover? What do you see happening then at the end of the fiscal year?
I see the state taking some of our money away from us.
Like how much do you think?
I don't know. I wouldn't be able to give a figure. Debbie, do you have any idea what they look at? I mean, we've never been in this position before where we've had to send money back. We don't want to send money back if at all possible.
Yeah, I would think that every agency would be in the same boat, perhaps, as far as unable to get enough numbers.
Yeah. Well, and and that's true, because different areas that we have talked to, they are running into a lot of the same problems. A lot of the bigger areas, they contract out their youth programs, and we don't want to do that because a lot of that money is spent on overhead instead of actually, working with the youth and going to the participant direct cost.
Is there anything that we could do to incentivize a youth to want to come into our program?
Well, at this point, that's another thing we're running up against. We pay $12 an hour. There's employers in the area paying $15, $16, $17 an hour starting out because they're having the same difficulties finding employees. We can't compete with that. Now, if we find employers that want to work with us, we can pay those starting wages. We can pay $15 an hour, but it's also finding those positions. But, employers all over are screaming for help.
So tell me about an employer that you're working with now. You talked about that some employers will come to you and say, like, I've got this employee that would be really great for your program. Can you tell us who some of those employers are? Just kind of giving me an idea of who they are and what kind of industry you're looking at.
Well, right now, Stevens Industries, we had put 5 or 6 work experience kids there. They had went to but these are all in-school kids too. They went to the schools all over the area. We had them from all over. They sent them to us and we screened them. And, like Stevens, they were paying a little over, or maybe around $15 an hour starting wages. So that's what we were able to pay the kids. We also we're working with Peerless right now. It's not youth though, and they've sent us another one we need to screen, and I don't know if that one's going to be a youth or not, but we'll screen for eligibility. I'm hoping it's a youth, but no matter, and their starting wage is a little over $15 an hour. So if we can get some of those employers, and if they're paying a little bit more than what we pay, we can pay their starting wage.
Only because sometimes I can't remember everything. My brain gets too full. Remind me how this works with an employer. Do we pay a portion of the employee's wage? Only thinking about when some of us go out and we are talking with friends at dinner and they're like, oh, well, I've got this business and I'm doing this. Can you kind of share with me what that looks like from the employer side? How much do we pay? What services do we offer to those students? Just so we all can remember what that looks like.
For work experience, CEFS, we are the employer of record. So we pay all of the wages. So either we pay, depending on, we either pay the $12 an hour, or if the starting wage at that business is more than $12 an hour, we will pay that wage. We do cover the workman's comp, being the employer of record. Now, on the job training is a little bit different. This is a reimbursement to the employer. That customer is their employee. We're just reimbursing them for the training wages, which could be anywhere from 50 to 75%, depending on the number of employees. So if an employer has 250 employees or less, the reimbursement rate for those businesses are 75%. And this could be anywhere from 3 to 6 months, depending on the contract length. And, and work experience and on the job training, we help with transportation back and forth to work. And we also, if they do need childcare, we help with childcare assistance.
Okay, you bring up one thing that I just had written down was childcare. Well, some of the local childcare preschools, whatever name you want to give them, they're caring for people's children while they're at work during the day. Many of them are having the very same difficulties other agencies are having. They cannot find enough employees. They don't pay very well. Some of those are very young people that are going to work there, maybe right out of high school and doing that part-time. Is that something that someone could do as youth work experience if they were working in a childcare facility?
And that's one of the areas that we have been working on. Kevin Busher, the CEO for SAFS, he is on a task force with kind of the childcare consortium. I can't remember the name of it, but we have been reaching out to all the daycares in the area and providing information about our program. In fact, November 1st, I am going to be speaking at one of their meetings just to provide some information. But we have reached out to the daycare centers, and we do have one of the centers here where we have work experience kids, and we've had some on-the-job training contracts with them. So hopefully we can, continue and expand that with some of the other daycares in the area.
Maybe kill two birds with one stone, right?
Correct. Yeah, we're on it. We're on it. But they're having the same problem as we are. It's finding qualified people to work in those centers.
There's lots of talk in the news about the additional unemployment dollars are not going to be available. Do we think that's going to cause an influx of people looking for work in the area? What's your opinion on your side?
You know what? I really don't think it's going to make that big of a difference. I don't think we will see big numbers coming in because of that unemployment stopping. I think the people that want to be working are working. But I don't see our numbers drastically increasing because of that.
Okay.
I wish, I wish, but
I'm gonna go around and just, if anyone has an additional idea, I'm gonna call on every single person that's at the meeting right now and say, if you have an additional idea, please throw it out there, even if it seems like it is not something we could do. Throw it out there and see if it is something that we could move forward with. Amy, you're up first.
Well, I kind of had my suggestion with working with the TPC, and I think I'm going to talk with the group tomorrow to see if there's something like if we have any other ideas. But really, I kind of see across the board agencies struggling because of COVID, and I don't know if there's anything that we can do at this point to increase that, other than, you know, maybe going back to if Lori has a list of great places where she's received referrals in the past, and we kind of hit them up again, you know, to say, hey, we're still here and we're still doing this. That would be what I would suggest.
Dave, you're up next.
Oh, I have no wisdom. I would say this, daycare is a shortage everywhere. I know here in Sullivan, this community, there's a shortage, and that may be, as Lori indicated, one of the reasons people aren't rushing back to work. But, you know, if someone was saying, well, if you had $100,000, what would you do? And one suggestion was start a new daycare center, but an additional daycare. But it would take more money than that probably to train up people and have the place workable. One thing I'll mention, which is not a positive, well, I don't think it is that our agency and others like us throughout central Illinois are struggling with the governor's new mandate on vaccinations and testing. And many of us have SILA homes, residential homes, where people are living, DD and MI people, and the staff, you know, maybe are 50% vaccinated. So that if, and some of those non-vaccinated people will choose not to be tested either. You know, weekly testing is the fallback position. So some will leave their job instead of that because they have various reasons why they think that's unfair and so on. So that is creating quite a problem in agencies like mine, where you have people that say, you know, that might have political reasons why they don't think that vaccination mandates are legal or whatever, or fair, whatever, you know, and you hear all the arguments. Sometimes you recognize them from coming from TV commentary. So that's a struggle that agencies are having right now. And I don't know if your agency perhaps is immune to that. If you are, that's a good thing.
What I'll say is community college is not immune to it. We are on the same struggle bus.
So I guess the timeline has been extended to October 16th or something now. So we have more time to worry about it, at least.
They put a plan in place. I don't know what that's going to look like. So, Tony, I'm going to start with you in the room. Any ideas?
No, I think the biggest idea is follow up with the probation officers. Follow up with the judges. I know we talked about this, and I still want to make a phone call to Judge Schick to see if they can do anything to make it a part of their probation that they have to go see assess counselor or career planner. I don't know if it'll work, but we can try. And then get with the guidance counselors, and if we've got to start with the superintendents and principals to get to the guidance counselors, that's what we got to do. And we got to make those relationships. And like I said, there was more new people now, I guess, in the counseling world. Maybe they don't know about our services, so we've got to try what we've tried in the past and see if it works.
Debbie,
Lori, I know at one point we talked about you guys maybe checking with the housing authorities. Did anything ever become of that?
No. We
I said
didn't
that-
get,
That
we
was
didn't get any
my-
referrals there.
Maybe housing authority or maybe the health departments, would they maybe be able to maybe pass out our information? But just trying to think of different places that maybe,
One of the things with the housing authority, if they have kids that are, 16, 17, and those kids go to work, they count against their money coming in, so it raises their rent. Parents are not gonna let a kid go to work and lose their
Yeah.
food stamps and pay more rent. So that's an issue there, because everything's based on income.
well, that is an interesting perspective. I hadn't thought about it from that
Yeah.
perspective. I know that this summer, the adult education staff went to the Birth to 3 program through Mattoon School District, did some like open house things in the area. They did them at Sunrise Apartments and one other location here in Mattoon. Most of those are Section 8 housing. They did a lot of fun things, but then still passed out information. I don't know if CEFS was there or not. I didn't go, so I don't know who was all there. I don't know if Birth to 3 will continue doing a program like that. And I don't know if other school districts do that. Keep in mind, that was just one school district and that's their one program where they are working with the Birth to 3 children, but then also helping the parents with parenting skills and job search and getting them into college or getting GED or whatever it is to make the parent successful to hopefully bridge that gap for that little kiddo.
We do a lot with Head Start every year, and we're going to be doing that in the next month with the family parent educators. And we provide all of that information so they can give that to the families. And, if there's other areas that we can be doing that at, we would be happy to provide that information to them also.
Jamie,
Lori, I know a while ago you had talked about, and I'm not sure if it was just one career planner or a whole bunch of them were sending out letters to previous participants, asking them to kind of be ambassadors of the program that they went through. Have you seen any response from that, or has it been scaled out to more career planners doing?
We might have seen a few, but it wasn't a big number. But I think all of the career planners did that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I think, like you said, we're not getting any referrals from any one place consistently. And people are gonna trust people they know more than they're gonna trust some authority figure at some agency that they might have to go to that they don't even wanna go to. So I think that's where most opportunity is leaning into those past participants. And I don't know exactly how, I don't have any specific ideas for you. But I mean, that starting with that letter, just asking them to be kind of ambassador-like and spread the word, I think that was a great start. And if you guys can build anything from there, that's most likely, like you said, where you're gonna see any consistent action at all is from that word of mouth.
We get a lot of referrals from, or, people calling us because they're sitting next to someone in class, that, maybe they're having them, they see their attendance sheets and they talk to them about workforce programs. We get probably more referrals by our students, than any other place.
Is there any way we can?
And yeah, those are mainly adults too. It's not on the youth side.
well, and those would be in school youth. What about those aren't out of school youth?
Sometimes they'll, maybe tell a friend about it, but they're just not coming in.
Okay, Lori and Elaine, what can the committee do to help you with this?
Well, just keep spreading the word. And, you know, if any idea, I mean, even if you think it's crazy, way out there, please share it. I mean, at this point, no idea is crazy. And we're willing to do just about anything. So, you know, but any thoughts, you know, if you think of any like untapped resources that maybe we're not using at this point, I mean, we're doing everything and anything we can to get these kids in. So,
Lori is not exaggerating when she says that. Amy and Dave, if you have not checked out our podcast, Lori's a co-host on a podcast for Workforce Innovation.
reluctantly, but yes, I am.
Everything crazy. So please look up Workforce Innovation News anywhere you listen to podcasts, Spotify, Google, Apple Podcasts, or just Google it. You'll find it on our website, and subscribe as well while you're checking it out. Shameless.
Yes, I hear it. Okay, any last comments, anything on youth recruitment? Lori and Elaine, if you think of things that the committee can help you with, please don't wait till the next meeting, shoot us an email. If you hear about a group that you want to see if any of us have contact with, or I'll be honest, anything that we can help you with, please shoot an email out to the group and we will do whatever we can to help you.
Thank you.
We'll
We
move on to
appreciate it.
Thank you. We'll move on to item number 6, other business. Is there any other business? Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 7, public comment. Seeing none, we'll move on to item 8, closing remarks. Just want to thank everyone for coming to the youth committee meeting today. We threw a lot of ideas out there for Lori and Elaine to think about, look at. Again, if you think of ideas, email Lori and Elaine. Lori and Elaine, if you think of ideas, please don't hesitate to reach out to all of us, and we will do the best that we can to help you. With that being said, our next meeting will be December 13th. We will plan on in person. Is that right? We're going to cross our fingers. We're going to plan on in person again. And if we have in-person meeting, it's at 3 o'clock. Is that right? I
Yes.
forget what time the in-person meetings
Yes.
are.
3 o'clock.
If we have in-person meeting, it will be at 3 o'clock. If we are on Zoom, we will again do 10 o'clock in the morning, just like we're doing right now. So I would entertain any motions to adjourn.
Doesn't matter, we don't have a quorum.
Oh, well, we don't have a
Okay.
quorum. Somebody's telling me don't ask for oh, look, there's Tiffany. Hi, Tiffany.
Did I make quorum?
Oh,
Oh, okay.
more.
Oh, man.
Do we hold on to the minutes until the next meeting?
Yeah.
So we'll hang on to the June 21st, 2021 minutes until the December meeting, and then we'll approve both meeting notes. And we don't need a motion to adjourn. So for any of you who are going to consortium committee, we meet at 11.
In the same room, so hang out here, right? That's how I did it.
Yes.
Yeah, yes, I know what I
And full
did.
board meets at 12 o'clock today. So see you all soon.
Bye-bye.